Okay, I am going to make a video over a couple of these problems, just because I think it's worth to go through, and just in case I give a quiz, hint, hint, wink, wink, it would be good for you to know how to do these. Now, I know we did some easy examples in class whereby you might even be able to kind of reason it out using some simple math here. Like, for example, number two, um, you've got you've got you can see that if you're looking for the number wx, right? If you're looking for wx, it has to be on one side of the average of 19 and where the average is 12. So some of these things are kind of easy to reason mathematically and say this is, 7 from to get from 12 to 19, and so if you subtract 7 from 12, you get 5. And you can double check that to get the tingles. 5 plus 19 all over 2 is 24 over 2, which is indeed 12, right? So, but some of them are not so easy, right? You've gotten to some hard ones, hopefully, here. By the time you watch this video, if you've not gotten to these problems, push pause, try the problems, and see what you get, okay? So let's do number 5 real quick. Pause again if you've tried it already. And you want to see the answer, great. I'm going to go through the solution. But if not, then try to do it yourself. Now this one, again, you could do a little bit of mathematical reasoning, right? You see that you had to subtract 6 to get to 23. So you could add 6 to get to this, but that's a mathematical expression. So I would take 11x plus 2 equals 29 plus 6, which is 35. So it'd be one way to do it. 11x is then equal to 33 after subtracting 2 on both sides, showing your algebraic step, right? And then you divide by 11 on both sides, and luckily x equals 3. You can get the tingles here by plugging back in. 11 times 3 is 33, plus 2 is 35. And check to see if 35 and 23 give you an average of 29. And it looks like it will because it is 6 units apart. But you can go ahead and add and check that, right? Okay, that's an easier one, but still, like, you could see that you could do number 5 a little bit more algebraically by adding, right, let me use a different color here, adding the bases, 11x plus 2 plus 23. And you know the average of the bases, right? So if you add the two bases and divide by 2, you get the mid segment, which is 29. Okay. So how would you solve that equation? Because we may need to be able to do this later. Well, the easiest way to solve when we have a fraction like that is to multiply by the LCD if you have two fractions, but here we just multiply by the 2 and it gets rid of it on the left, and we get 58 on the right, and on the left we get that expression on top, 11x plus 2 plus 23. I'm going to go ahead and add the 2 plus the 23. You get 25. Okay, I'm going to subtract 25 on both sides and get 11x equals 23. Is that right? No, 33, sorry. Divide by 11 on both sides and get x equals 3 again, right? So same answer as we got before. So that's great. We're solving for x. Again, this makes it a little bit more algebraic than this one. It's not to say it's any less of a good method or any more of a good method, but it will help you later on, because now we look at these problems down here and they're a little bit harder because they're not necessarily just a couple numbers in there that you could figure out the difference between the mid segment and the base, et cetera, et cetera. So let's look at number 8. And again, if you haven't tried it, go ahead and try it. Push pause and try it. Okay, so seeing as you put in a good effort to do number 8, let's see how we could actually do this. Well, we see that this is a trapezoid. We're told it's a trapezoid where the sides are parallel. I don't know if I actually told you TW. All the lines that appear to be parallel are parallel. Okay, I did say that. Okay, great. So look, it looks like these sides are parallel. So those are the sides that are parallel. Those are the bases. and we know the average of the bases, okay? The average of the two bases, which is the average of the two numbers. Now, 6x plus minus 6 is an actual side. That's just one number, right? Plus the 38, which is one number. We don't have three numbers here. We have a term and a term, two terms. The average of those two terms will be taking those two terms, add them together and divide by 2, is equal to the mid-segment, which is the average of the two bases. Okay, so how do we solve that? Again, if we look back to what we did before, the easy way to get rid of this divide by 2, we could add this and divide by 2, which is going to be messy. I would just like to get rid of that 2 by multiplying by 2. And we get 6x. I'm going to go ahead and combine this guy. Plus 32 equals 14x minus 8, right? We got a little more of a complicated equation here. Let's get the x's on the right because I can see that they'll stay positive if I do that. So if I bring the x's over to the right, I better bring the numbers over to the left, right? And so it's all in one foul swoop there. We can see that 6 x's are gone on the left and we get 40. I forgot to change colors, didn't I? We can see that the 6x cancels over here, 6x minus 6x. We get 32 plus 8 is 40. And on the right, the 8's cancel, and we get 14x minus 6x, which is 8x. Right? Unrelated to this 8, this is 8. And now we're just going to divide by 8 on both sides and get x is, whoa, what happened? X equals 5. Okay. Now, pause it here if you can think of a way to check your answer. If you haven't checked your answer yet, see if you can find a way to check your answer. Okay, so the way I check my answer is I plug that 5 back in for my x values and see if the sides will then produce the relationship we want. If I plug my 5 into the 6x here, it's going to be 30 minus 6 is 24. So that'd be that side. And it should have a average of 24 and 38 should give us whatever the average of that is. Well, I better figure out the mid-segment. FG is 7 times 5 is 35 minus 4 is 31. So is 34 and 38, or is 31 the average of 24 and 38? Well, from 31 to 24 is minus 7, but from 31 to 38 is plus 7, so it looks about right. And so we should get some tingles there. 38 plus 24 over 2 should give us 31. That's, what is that, 62, right? 8 plus 4. So it's 62 over 2, 31. Okay. Okay, so that was a little bit more complicated. See if you can try number 7. Again, algebraic expressions there. Now, what is the relationship of those two angles? We've talked about this in class. I keep getting pretty strict on you guys and being able to know what the relationships are called. So we have parallel lines. This angle here, and this angle here are not congruent, but they are supplementary because they are consecutive interior. They're on the same side of the transversal. This is the transversal. These are the parallel lines. So when you have these parallel lines, this transversal, these two angles are called consecutive interior, and they are supplementary. So 6x minus 22 plus 8x plus 34 is equal to 180, right? The minus 22 plus 34 is plus 12. I'm going to subtract 12 to get rid of it. That gets rid of all this stuff. And we end up with 6x plus 8x is 14x equals 168. I'm about to get kicked off here, or this video can't be very long. Divide by 14, x is 1. 28 is 2, so I think it's 12 if I didn't make any mistake there. Plug it back in to see if you get the tingles, and those angles are supplementary. I've got to stop the video.